All right. One more time, if we took a break to turn off your cell phones and put them on mute or vibrate, please. And before we begin with Jurgen and Clint, one other news item. Today, Jurgen has released Hercules Gomez. He's going to go to Los Angeles to continue fitness work with Athletes Performance in LA. And Jurgen will be able to speak to that a little bit later. Here we have head coach of the U.S. men's national team, Jurgen Klinsmann, and team captain, Clint Dempsey. Jurgen, your thoughts on tomorrow night's match against Panama?
Obviously, it's huge. It's a huge game for us. We badly won 3 points in this game, and then obviously next week in Salt Lake. Those are home games, and they're must wins. So it was nice coming back from Jamaica with the 3 points, with a great reaction from the team. Then the last couple of minutes turning it around after the equalizer. But now all that matters is total focus on Panama, which is a really good team. We had already a meeting this morning about Panama. Individually, very gifted team. Collectively, they're together since a long time. They've worked over the last couple of years on all elements, and you can see that. It's a team that really kind of is in tune with each other, and therefore we expect a very difficult game tomorrow night, a very difficult game.
We do have a wireless microphone, so we'll start over here with Ivis.
Clint, question for Clint. The team seems to be in really good mood, good spirits, obviously coming off that big win. Could you just talk about the mood around the squad, especially just given the last run of results? And secondly, talk about Panama, the matchup. They always give you guys a tough game. Obviously, they've won in the Gold Cup in the group stage. What is it about them that just gives you guys trouble every game?
Yeah, I would say the team is in good spirits, but we're going to keep our feet on the ground. We know that it's a roller coaster trying to qualify for the World Cup, and there's a lot of twists and turns, so we need to make sure that we take care of business. And like Jurgen said, the home games is crucial that we get 3 points. It's not just going to happen when we show up. We have to go out there and we have to work for it and make it happen. Panama, yeah, they're a good team. They're a team that's been, building over the last few years and getting better and more difficult to play against. As you saw in the Gold Cup, like you mentioned, they beat us in the first round, but then we beat them 1-0 in the semifinal game in Houston. But yeah, they're a difficult team to break down defensively because they stay compact. They work really hard for each other. They're physical, but at the same time they can play, and they have players who can score goals. So, it's going to be a difficult game. But I think if we play to the best of our ability, we'll be able to get the 3 points.
Stephen.
Jurgen, can you just update us on Jermaine's situation, not only for tomorrow, but another game next week, and how you see this playing out?
Well, Jermaine is fine. He's doing great, but we obviously take things seriously. We don't want to do kind of anything risky, even if he's ready to go already today. So we are just precautious. We keep him out of tomorrow night's game, and he will be definitely back for the game in Salt Lake City.
Leander.
Jurgen, is there a sense that with 2 wins in a row now, you're building some momentum, or are these just the swings and the ebb and flow of international soccer?
No, what we're trying to build is consistency. We want to keep working daily on things that we want to improve, and get fine-tuned all over the place on the field, between the players, the overall shape, tactical approaches. So it's just it's a normal process we're going through. But really, the big picture is becoming consistent, as a team, and obviously the results being consistent, that helps as well. But I think we see more and more things that are coming through that we're working on since quite a while. The players know now what to expect when they come into camp, and once we have a couple of days more to kind of work on elements, then it's easier for us, instead of maybe just having 2 days like before the Honduras game and get everybody on the same page, So I think that process is going well, but everybody's aware that these games right now, they're so crucial that we need to give everything we have in order to get those 3 points in every one of those games. And then there are some other games, friendlies, where you can try things out that you just want to see. But right now, it's really about getting those points.
Jonah.
Clint, through 4 games in the last cycle, you actually had the same amount of points as you do now. You had 7 points, but the vibe was very different. You were coming off the Costa Rica game. What's been different in just the experience in going through this? There's definitely a different vibe this time around, I'd say, coming off the last 2 results.
Yeah, I would say that we're starting to see the team take more shape, starting to have more chemistry, and just getting more comfortable. Everybody's, the new faces are settling, great, and people have been able to come in and make a, immediate impact. But yeah, the vibe is good. Anytime you're getting good results, people are going to be happy, especially dealing with the situations that we had when we first came into the 2 World Cup qualifiers, starting in March. But, I think we're closer as a team, and we're trying to keep building towards the World Cup and, make sure that we qualify and that, we get the job done. So things are good, but, we still keep our feet on the ground. We still know we got a lot of work cut out for us and, a lot better to get as a team.
Grant.
Jurgen, the World Cup starts exactly 1 year from Wednesday. And you came in talking about making some pretty big changes with the team. What are sort of the main ways in which you think this team has improved in the last 2 years, and what are some of the main ways that you think more improvement is necessary?
Well, I think, to get to where we want to be one day in the top 10, 15 in the world, it's exactly what I mentioned before. It's a question of consistency. I think the team already showed in the past on a God-given day they can beat Spain like they did in the Confederations Cup, or they can make some surprises there. But if you really want to be in the top 10 one day, you need to be consistent with everything you do. And if it's friendlies, if it's a Gold Cup, if it's World Cup qualifiers, it's the signals that you send out to all the opponents around the globe. And I think there you kind of take it all apart as a coaching staff and say, okay, where are we tactically, where are we technically, where are we individually with every one of them, where are their limits, how far can they go. And that's why we always have the discussion to shoot for the next step in the ladder, just step it up wherever you are, no matter in what league or what club. So this process will be always ongoing. So you try to kind of improve all those different elements down the road, before you go into the World Cup then in Brazil. At the same time, it's also important that the federation itself, the organization itself around the senior national team becomes really professional. Does everything the right way, we've been down in Brazil already, looking infrastructure, all that stuff. We're probably the first one. And we're trying to juggle right now the World Cup qualifiers with just a couple of days later a Gold Cup with 2 different rosters, or some guys go into the Gold Cup. So there are many elements that we constantly work on. But I think, what we're trying to do is to build a culture of being constantly focused, don't switch off, not even in an 89th minute in Jamaica on a offside free kick, but it was a goal, he gave a goal. So those are things, where the big teams in the world, they don't switch off, not even 1 second, Italy is never switching off. So we see still, where we have to improve, what we have to do, and we show that, the players, and we talk about the organization itself, elements that we have to be better in order to catch up to the top teams one day in the world. It's a cultural process that is going on, and that's what started 2 years ago in a different way than Bob did it before, and hopefully it comes to a very good point the next summer in Brazil with everybody in here. That's what we are hoping for.
This question is for both of you guys. After getting a glimpse of soccer in Seattle and the fan base here at the Sounders Whitecaps match on Saturday, how thrilled are you to be playing this match in Seattle?
Yeah, it's, good friends with Eddie Johnson, and he always tells me about, what it's like playing here and playing in front of the fans, and just how it's in an atmosphere that's comparable to what it is in Europe. And it's great to see, because I remember when I first started out in MLS, things weren't like that. So it's great to see that the game is building, and that there's markets like this that people have so much passion for the game. I almost felt like I was in another country the other day when the Seattle Sounders game was on. I was walking to get dinner, and just as you walk past the bars, you see the TV's on and everybody's watching soccer. So for me, that was awesome. So happy to play here and look forward to the game and feeling what that atmosphere will be like. So and hopefully I celebrating with 3 points.
Hi, Clint, what do you think that 5 games in such a short span, kind of all over the continent, you guys are traveling quite a bit, what do you think that does for team chemistry, you guys being together all the time? And do you think, next summer, do you think it will look kind of at this stretch of games as the point where you guys really started to click and come together?
I think, when you're having situations where we're having to travel a lot, and that's things that you're going to face when you're in the World Cup, because it'd be different locations and being able to adjust quickly, and the more situations you're able to overcome and deal with, it makes you stronger as a team. I would say the turning point for us was the game in Denver, and then just moving forward and building and getting stronger, and like Jurgen said, just being more consistent and being more switched on, and being able to get our first win in Jamaica in a World Cup qualifier away from home is huge, and that's what you have to do. You have to start, not only winning your games at home, but getting points on the road and being able to win on the road, and that's what puts you in a good position in the table. So, it's good that we're having the travel and being able to play against different teams and having the 2 games against top sides in Belgium and Germany, but then also dealing with the travel and that comes with it. It makes it difficult for everybody, but it's about being strong as a team and being able to deal with those situations and being able to still play at a high level and still produce, and that's what we're trying to do.
Kevin.
Jurgen, this is a 2-parter for you. You've seen the field, and I'm wondering what you think of the field conditions, the temporary grass field, and whether it will affect your lineup choices. Somebody like Josie Altidore, who's had hamstring history, problems with his hamstring. Would that change that? And the second part is, you finally had the same lineup 2 games in a row, and now you're missing Zuzi and you're missing Jermaine Jones. How does that set back your desire to have some consistency?
Maybe the second part first. It is always what it is. When you go through those amount of games, you lose players if it's maybe an injury, if it's a yellow card, if it's whatever it is, and then you deal with it. And it's definitely, not a coincidence that we never really had the chance to kind of consistently field the same 11, because they were never available at the same time again. So we'll always make the best out of it, but I think, the team more and more understands, what we want to build here and how we want to fine-tune things, and also players that are maybe in the second position in their personal spot know now exactly what to do when they come in. So I think, the backups we have in every position, they are very, very good. Sometimes they're even 50-50 situations, as you can see in the center back roles and in other roles as well. So important is they understand their roles, and once, there are changes, they know what to do. The field, maybe that's a better question for Clint. He has to run on it. To me, it seemed pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, I would say the field's good. It's not the first time we've had to deal with playing on, grass put over turf. We played quite a few games, especially in the Gold Cup competition, on that type of surface. I'd rather play on real grass over turf than to play on turf. So. But the ball rolls good. We felt fine yesterday playing on it. We'll get another chance to play on it today, and they'll water the field, and the ball will be moving quickly, which is important, and rolling true. The only thing is that you might notice is when it bounces, it doesn't bounce as much on the surface, but both teams will be able to play good soccer, and it should make for a good game.
Clint, has Jurgen challenged you more than other coaches you've had in the past, and has he made you think differently about how you approach your career?
Yes, I would say Jurgen has challenged me since the first day that I've come in, expecting more for myself and being able to push myself and play at the highest level possible. That's something that I always believed, and that's something that I always did myself anyway, but to have someone constantly telling you, keep pushing, keep working, you know, and letting you know that he believes in you, has confidence in you, is great as a player. You couldn't ask for a better situation. And it's about being able to live up to those expectations that, you know, the manager has for you, but also the expectations you have on yourself. So, you know, it's great to have that and to play for a team like this and try to do something special and qualifying for the World Cup. So, you know, we have a good team and we're starting to build something and the chemistry is getting there and it's just that consistency and, you know, I think we'll be fine.
Jurgen, how has Brad Davis grown since you saw him in January and since you've seen him in MLS the last few years?
I think he's doing really well. I think he's getting more and more, confident in this group. You know, it takes a little bit. Everybody kind of checks out everyone. You know, they're looking at each other and they want to know, okay, where's my spot here? You know, where am I in the hierarchy of the team and all that stuff. I think he's doing really well, and that's why he's here in this group. You know, because we know when he gets on the field, you know, he will give everything he has, but he's also confident to show his quality, you know, and prove to everyone that he deserves to be in this group. So we're very pleased with his contribution, really.
Jurgen, who are some of the candidates you'll be looking at to replace Graham Zusi on the right side, and what are some of the things that go into you and your coaches thinking about making that decision?
Well, obviously, you know, since the moment it happened there in Jamaica after the game, we started to discuss it, and I think we have several options there that we can shift people around a little bit. You know, we can bring Eddie Johnson right away on the right side if we want to. You know, we can shift over Fabian Johnson to the right, bring in Brad Davis on the left, for example, or even Edgar Castillo like we did in Jamaica. So going through all those pieces, you know, we have a pretty good idea how we want to start tomorrow, which I won't tell you right now.
This is really for both of you. Panama's, one of their strengths that they've really shown over the years is that they really defend well and they're very organized and they defend very deep. So that presents very unique tactical challenges for you. What's kind of the idea for unlocking a team like that? And Clint, you know, you've seen them 3-4 times. You know what that entails.
Yeah, I would say that, you know, teams have had success against them in crosses, whether it's set plays or getting the ball wide and getting crosses in the box. People have been able to get on the end of things and get goals that way. But yeah, it's just about keeping possession good and picking and choosing your moments, you know, when to take risk in the attacking third. But they're a team that is very difficult to break down. But, you know, if we play the ball quickly, 1 and 2 touch, and have good movement off the ball, you know, I think that we'll be fine.
Jurgen, before the Denver game, it seemed like it was the end of the world and nothing was going right for the team, and now it seems like everything's going perfect for the team. What's changed? Has your approach changed? Has it been a change in style or approach or anything like that?
No, nothing changed. Maybe your articles changed a little bit, but it is. I say that in Denver too. It is normal that, you know, not everyone shares the same opinion, and if he expresses that and brings out an article based on some anonymous quotes and all that stuff that we had at that time, so be it. You know, that's what he did. You know, but I think, you know, there's a group that has an exact idea where they want to get to. We want to get to the World Cup. This path towards the World Cup, the road to the World Cup, is a bumpy one. That's just normal. You know, there will be up and downs. There will be some defeats. There will be good moments, bad moments. At the end of the day, it's the entire group. It's the chemistry of that group. It's the chemistry of the organization that will be strong enough to qualify and then hopefully show a great showing there in Brazil next summer. So there will always be moments where you discuss it differently than maybe I see it, or the coaching staff, or maybe the players, and you just need to go through that. But I think, you know, overall, the work that we're doing since 2 years is very consistent in what we're doing.
Thank you, Jurgen. Thank you, Clint. And we'll see you at CenturyLink Field.
Thank you.